Charcoal production in Africa is responsible for over 50% of the continent's CO2 emissions. It destroys large forest areas every year. On the other hand, charcoal is the most important source of energy for Europe's neighboring continent. Sustainable Carbon Circle Industries, SCCI, would like to inform you about the production of green ecological charcoal. SCCI has developed and tested a process that not only enables environmentally friendly production of charcoal, but also protects the forest, creates jobs and cuts down CO2 emissions considerably. The process begins with a collection of unused biomass, such as coconut shells and green waste. This process is already creating jobs for a large number of workers who can earn a living for themselves and their families. Another advantage is that it also avoids negative effects on the environment and people through open burning or dumping. Now the biomass has to be roughly sorted and pre-dried in the sun. SCCI then collects the pre-dried biomass and transports it to the charcoal plant. Depending on the moisture content, the biomass is dried in a drying chamber at 70 to 100 degrees Celsius for 2 to 6 hours. This is done with free heat from pyrolysis. The process is followed by shredding. A machine cuts the material into equal pieces to ensure efficient processing. The equal-sized pieces of bio-waste are then filled into large heat-resistant metal containers. These containers are then pushed into the charcoal oven. The oven is sealed airtight and checked by our well-trained personnel. The furnace is a large industrial furnace, hermetically sealed and insulated. The furnace is responsible for the conversion of biomass into green charcoal. This process is called pyrolysis. Escaping gases are fed into the furnace and serve as the driving force behind the process. Pyrolysis is the thermal decomposition of materials at elevated temperatures in an inert atmosphere. It involves the change of chemical composition and is irreversible. The word is coined from the Greek-derived elements pyro, fire, and lysis, separating. The biomass is heated to a temperature of 800 to 1000 degrees. Conversion starts at approximately 300 degrees. Escaping gases are fed back into the combustion chamber to work even more efficiently and to avoid exhaust gases as far as possible. The emissions are reduced nearly completely. The chemical conversion or pyrolysis takes between 6 and 8 hours. After 8 hours, the green waste has turned into ecological charcoal. The green charcoal must now cool down slowly for about 3 hours under airtight conditions. The eco-charcoal is then grinded into a powder. This is necessary to ensure a safe pressing process. Different grain sizes of charcoal could destroy the mill. The green charcoal is milled to a uniform granule size. The powder is being mixed with natural adhesives, like manioc starch in the form of cassava flour. All it takes is a simple cement mixer. Briquettes and pellets are pressed from this mass. After pressing, the briquettes have to be hardened and dehumidified in a drying chamber. Immediately after pressing, the briquettes are still porous and brittle. Now the green charcoal briquettes can be packed and the bags can be closed and sealed. The sale of this ecological charcoal to customers can now start. No tree had to be felled for this charcoal. There was no environmental pollution due to CO2 emissions during production. Ecological charcoal can now be delivered to customers with a good conscience. At SCCI, it is important to us that we preserve the environment, create jobs and recycle biological waste. It is our mission to the people to improve their lives through a healthier environment, through clean energy and through the use of existing resources. Above all, however, it is important to us to create meaningful and sustainable jobs.